everybody. Welcome to the nick of time. I do not even know what episode we're on, but we're going to have a great episode for you. We got a very special guest. But before we do that, got to introduce my one and only co-host, Miss Georgie.
Your Women's Day, Women's Month. What it do?
What it is, yes. Happy, what is it called? It's International Women's Day, right? So
Oh, I
that's
thought it was a whole month.
oh, wasn't? Is it?
I don't know. I thought it was.
Hey, let's just kudos to the whole month. Let's do it already. Yes, but we are back and we have a very, very special guest for you today. Very near and dear to my heart. She's actually blood, my one and only niece, Mariah Faith Sauseda. How's it going, Mariah? Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
What's up, you guys? My name's Mariah. I'm currently 19. I'm actually about to turn 20 in a couple of days. I am from Odessa, Texas. I do live in San Antonio. Moved to San Antonio a couple years ago back in high school. And I'm here to just get into it with my uncle.
Let's do it. I'm excited. Before we get into the nitty gritty of Mariah's story, for the both of you guys, I kind of want to ask, like, what does a day like today, as far as like International Women's Day, what does that mean to y'all? You can start, Mariah.
For me, it's just to recognize, the strong women. All of us are out there. Like, us women do so much. Well, I'm not a mother personally, but seeing all the moms, I honor them because Lord knows they birth life, and it's just, what can we not do, really? So I look at myself and every woman in my life and every woman in general as a strong, amazing person. So yeah, just to honor them.
Georgie, what does Women's Day mean to you?
Well, I feel like this is going to be a little like non-traditional political right answer because Mariah definitely killed it. Not gonna lie, when I heard about it today, it's me and one other female in my shop, and there's 5 of us. I get shit on every single day, so it's like me defending myself, but her, she's kind of like my only person in there. So I'm notorious for baking. Everybody knows that I bake and I bring in goods. So I kind of, dumped on everybody else. And I looked at my homegirl and I was like, I'm about to, whatever you want me to bake, I'll bake it and we'll bring it in and I'll celebrate us. And the guys can't have any of it, but we're going to celebrate us. So I'm actually going to make banana pudding brownies at her request. She's also my troop. So support but it's girl power between us. So it was really just recognizing that we are really just on a superior level, you know what I'm saying? Compared to because I know my boss is gonna watch this, so yeah, we're superior. Yeah, just recognizing what we recognize every day. I don't need a day to know I'm bad, so good.
Well, I will say this, there's a lot of things that women can do that I definitely can't do. But Mariah, when you said what's one thing you can't do, and it's that you can't deadlift as much as me. No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to out deadlift me. I'm just throwing that out there. But no, that's dope. That's dope. I appreciate those words, especially coming from y'all, right? Because I have no right to speak on that. But I did grow up in a house filled with women, so having 2 sisters and then obviously my mom. So it definitely is interesting to hear you guys' take on what a day like this means, and I appreciate that. With that, let's get into it. Miss Mariah Faith, my one and only niece. So you do a lot of things, right? I guess you started your journey because obviously I saw you grow up basically your whole entire life. But then I left for the Air Force, and you're always an athlete, always playing volleyball and such. And I guess one day, the gym really, really found you. and just health and fitness in general. Talk to me about how that started and how it came to where it is now.
Okay, so you're right. I have been an athlete since 11 years old, I believe, probably younger, all the way through junior high and high school. And I believe my sophomore year, I got into a car accident and tore my meniscus. And at that time, I had just moved to San Antonio. So in high school, you know, you leave your friends, you think your life is dramatically over. I was already going through emotions with that. And then again, I had torn my meniscus during volleyball season. So with that, I was out for, I think, half a year. And during that time, I had got a job at a little bakery. And mind you, at a bakery restaurant, you have all the goods, you name it. And working there with just going to school and work, I had no activity. I had torn meniscus. I wasn't playing a sport. I had just moved. So I had gained, I can say, about 30 pounds. And I fell into this depression. Like I'm telling you, I would just go to school, work, home, and I was eating my feelings away. And when I got released from my tear or recovery, I literally looked at myself and I could not fit into anything. I was just wearing oversized shirts, clothes, whatever. And I was like, enough is enough. Like, I need to just snap out of it. So I didn't know anything. I mean, I've always been an athlete. I knew what I knew as far as working out. And in high school, you know, you're not on a no diet or nutrition, nothing. I mean, you're just athlete. And so I literally started working outside my aunt's house because at the time we were living there. I would do like 10-minute jump rope, run around the block. And from there, like it starts physically, but it's really mental that, you know, pushes you to be whatever you want to be. And at the time, again, I didn't know anything about personal development. I didn't know anything. I was just going and learning as I go. So was starting little by little. I was doing the basics, eating chicken and rice, doing what I saw on the internet. And from there, I just grew. And again, just like with anything, you learn as you go. And I've learned through this journey, I've learned a lot. Like I used to at that time, I wasn't happy. Like I said, I knew what I knew. I was eating chicken and rice 3 times a day. I literally like starved myself. And so,
Yeah.
but where I'm at now is totally different.
So how much weight did you lose, you would say, between that time and where you're at now?
I've lost about 35 pounds.
Ooh, look at that. Hey, let's give it kudos. Round of applause to that. 35
That's
pounds.
as much as Adams can deadlift.
And I've actually, the size of pants I wear now, I haven't even worn that since, I don't even think, 8th grade. So you learn as you go and you just roll with it.
Yeah,
for sure. Georgie, what about you? Have you always worked out, or was it like something that had to come to you one day?
so I feel like I grew up playing soccer, and that's like a lot of running. Grew up playing soccer, and I mean, it was school ball, travel, men's indoor, like 24/7. And I felt like no matter what, I was always kind of like a little like thicker, maybe. And it probably didn't help that I would eat a pint of ice cream once a week. Shout out to T Hill. I can inhale a mint chocolate chip pint probably about 2 minutes and like 37 seconds. So I used to eat a lot of ice cream, and they weren't lying when they said it caught up to you. And Adams, I know you haven't met my sister, but her and I side by side, we are not the same. Like I'm a little bit like, you know, somebody in 9th grade said I had broad shoulders, and it hurt my feelings. And I was like,
Oh.
But I think like my body type is meant to be muscular and not thinned out. And I think it was my sophomore year of high school. Mariah, I don't know, like, you know, birth control, things like that. That played a big part. I was on birth control at the time. Bonnie, and sorry. And I remember it was coming out of the summer season and we were getting into fall soccer, and my coach was like, "You look like you got fat. Why can't you like run?" And it like really hurt my feelings. And I was like, dang, like, and so I pack on weight super easily. I pack on weight. So I have to constantly like, be running and be involved. But I noticed that that takes more weightlifting to kind of get the figure that I want. Because just cardio, like I said, I'm not really built to be like slim. I think I look best when I'm between like 145 to like 155. So it's a little hard.
That's dope. I'm glad y'all are very aware. I mean, everyone has different body types. I'm no expert by any means, but I do know, that plays a factor. That plays a factor in everything you do. So yeah, thank you guys for sharing. Going forward with that, Mariah, would you like to explain to the people kind of what you do now in the health and fitness space and what you got going on?
Yeah, of course. So before Herbalife, it was my sophomore year, and during that time it was COVID time. And for y'all, obviously some people that will watch this know me personally, but since I was younger, I was in an entrepreneur like vibe. I never seen myself going to school. So during my senior year, as I mentioned, I lived in San Antonio, and there was this nutrition cafe that I would always go to, Castle Hills. Shout out to Castle Hills. And I would visit all the time, the community, the people there. I just loved it all around. Just, I would go there for healthy, shakes, teas, all of that good stuff. And actually, my sponsor, Chanel, she mentioned to me about a 21-day challenge. Mind you, I was, working out, doing my thing, whatever. And I was like, what do I have to lose? So I did it. I entered a 21-day challenge. I did lose 8 pounds during those. It was a 21-day challenge. And after that, she mentioned to hop on a Zoom. Got on it. They mentioned about earning some extra income and from your phone. So I was like, okay, cool. I did it. I was like, yes. And my first month, I earned $1,500. And that was just by helping people get healthy, whether it was wanting to lose weight, gain muscle, live a healthier lifestyle. Because for most people like me, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to begin. And it's nothing like having someone guide you through there and helping you eat the right things, working out. So that's pretty much what I do. I'm an online coach. If you want to lose weight, gain muscle, any of that, it's kind of what it is.
So with that too, can you also explain a little bit? Because I know most people are used to talking like normal, which I guess we are talking normal, and I want this to be a fluid, just normal conversation, and
Yeah.
No hesitation. But you got to think about people that don't know, right? And people that will listen to this. You have to explain a little bit on what Herbalife really is and what they do, what they provide.
Okay, yeah. So Herbalife is a nutrition company. They're actually #1 in the world right now. They offer certified meal replacements, muscle recovery, energy, protein coffee, teas. Teas, when I say teas, there's comes a lot with that. There's aloe, liftos, which is B12 vitamins for mental focus. They have every product you can actually want. And to me, the reason why it's not, not me, but when you go online and you see an influencer put they're sponsored by a product, correct? BCAs or whatever the case might be. What's the word? You can go get that and buy it on there, but you're not really taught on how to use everything. So with Herbalife, it's these nutrition products. Behind the products, there's a coach helping you that has gotten results off the product. So did that kind of answer?
No. Yeah, that's very I guess accurate. Like I said, I am definitely familiar with it, just through you. But yeah, you answered the question. I mean, as long as you explain just a little bit, people kind of get the gist, uh, fairly easily, I would say. Georgie, do you currently take any supplements, any products, stuff like that?
I take protein, and I take like a pump as well. I don't like the stimulants or the caffeine, I guess you could say. That comes with a pre-workout, and some vitamin C pill or gummies, and then collagen gummies. But I have to ask you, Mariah, I have to ask like the all-time dying question that I think everybody thinks when they think about like Herbalife, and then you see like Monat, like hair care, like more. I don't know if Herbalife is considered like MLM thing, but like how many times do you get people who are like, oh, that's a scam, like don't involve me, when you're here, like it changed my life, like it, because I seen the girl working for Monat. She used to be security forces, and now she's like, oh, I got this Cadillac. Like, are you gonna get a Cadillac? Are you gonna like, rank up like that? Or is it hard to get people on that now?
Honestly, now I would say no, but I will say, so to me, the way I look at it and the way I got, my vision has changed, I guess. Um, to me, it's like, okay, and again, when I say this, nothing against a 9 to 5, nothing against normal corporate world. Whatever makes you happy at the end of the day, correct? Like, but to me, when people are like, that's a scam, this is a scam, there are companies out there that are scams. I mean, I've heard of them, but to me, it's like, what's a scam is, you work 9 to 5 and you're worth whatever they put under you.
Bro, whose phone
Does
is
that
that?
make sense?
Whose phone is that?
Definitely Mariah's.
I'm sorry. It was like going off in the beginning. I was like, oh, maybe they just. I'm sorry. It's just hard for me to concentrate when I hear like.
Yeah.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah, can you try to mute that? Sorry, guys, we apologize.
It's like when you're in
Yeah,
class
sorry.
and somebody leaves their
I
phone
know,
on. You're
right?
like, oh.
Yeah, small technical difficulties. We're not gonna hold her to it, but it's her first podcast, so she's a little nervous.
Straight to jail.
I'm a
Believe it or
little.
not, straight to jail.
Yeah, that's funny.
Okay.
But did that answer the question, Georgie?
Yeah, I mean, like she's choosing, she obviously doesn't have aspirations to do a 9 to 5, wants to dive into this work of helping others. But I think it's more like, when I think about this type of work, I think like the creativity that comes with it, and how she's able to be creative and work at her own pace and kind of market the way she wants to. And when she touched on some companies are scams, I don't think you could say that Herbalife is a scam when they're number one supplement in the world or a country. I don't, US. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide, like Pitbull, you know what I mean?
Oh God.
but yeah, I mean, that's super dope. I always found it very interesting in like that kind of space of selling products, because I mean, it takes a certain kind of drive, right? And the closest thing I can relate to is I done like something like that in the past, but it just wasn't sustainable with the amount of hours I was working.
Yeah.
So I kind of dropped it. But that's how I feel about this podcast, right? Like, what you put into it, you'll get out of it. And it's like trying to get guests, right? It's like that's difficult. And then thinking about, well, what do people want to hear, and what's interesting, and how can I really get the most, not just out of conversations, but out of the different people I talk to, right? Like, well, I'm talking to you and you have your story, or I might talk to somebody, you know what I mean, who has a different story that other people can relate to. So it's really about what you put into it, you'll get out of it. And that's with anything. I feel like no matter what job you do, I think that's super important.
And I will say, can I say one more thing about that?
Hell yeah.
I
Go
will.
ahead.
I
What
will.
am I gonna be like? No, no.
Jail. Jail.
Turn your phone off, okay?
No, but I will say, like, I mean, nowadays, especially with social media, like producing so much money for people, um, I will be honest, like, I always wanted to be like an influencer, like, I mean, it just looks attractive, when everyone's living that lifestyle. But it's like, what I found the difference was with Herbalife is like, you get to actually make a difference in people's lives. Like, I've came to people and it's like, Mariah, you found me at my worst time and I've been able to drop so and so pounds and now I feel amazing and this and that. Like, and with that, I get to make an income with that. And yes, with influencers, like, I don't know how much I get paid, whatever, but like, it's what I do. I feel like I'm fulfilling a purpose in a way. And I just feel like I just love it.
No, for sure, you're directly impacting other people's lives, which is super kudos to you. Um, Georgie, I have a question for you because Mariah just brought this up, and I'm kind of thinking in my head, since now that you're like a co-host with me, do you believe that by you doing this podcast and maybe one or two people that are listening, whether they're struggling with mental health, physical health, whatever they got going on, do you think that what we got going is making a difference? Because that's why I started this, right?
Yeah.
I think that's super important. And I think you're also a person who's very optimistic and very full of life and has a lot of inspiration that can just, help people in their day-to-day lives. So
Yeah.
I wanted your take on that.
I feel like so it's I'm actually really happy that you brought this up. And to Mariah, when you said about influencers and social media, I feel like I was stepping into that when I was 18 or 19. Adams knew about my Instagram popping when I was in Korea. Definitely not the same now. I definitely have some remnants of followers though. So I feel like I've had a pretty heavy social media influence and I've had my fair share of, hey, post this. Never got to the point where I got paid to advertise, but I almost did hit 10K followers and I was like, wow, this is like a lot to like put on. And over time,
And this was also what, 2016, 2017. Just note that, right? Like this isn't like social media, IG especially. I mean, it was popular, right? But you still had, Facebook was still kind of the main thing, and then Twitter was always there. Like Instagram wasn't what Instagram is today.
yeah, it like blew up. Like this was before the Instagram like influencer glow up, I think, or before it became like a thing. Sorry, I hope my dogs are not gonna bark. So I kind of stepped down on like my presence, I think, on social media just because I've had my fair share of like catfishes, all of this. And to me, it was too hard to like keep up. Like it is so hard for me to keep up, like, posting all the time, like this and that. So Nick, when you invited me to be your co-host, I was like excited because like Mariah said, it has been somewhat attractive to just like live your life and you make money and you do things like, and you're able to do things off of that. And I think that it has made a change, but it's hard for me to take a step back and look at it because I was telling my coworker about this because they found our podcast and they were just like low key making fun of me, not of the podcast, but making fun of me.
Yeah.
And Nick, you know me in person, I'm like a crackhead, like personality all over the place. And one of them said you should write a book. And I was like, who would want to like read what I have to say? And I have this thought in the back of my head is like, who am I? Why do people care? And why would I be important? You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm like a local legend or like I'm not like a mayor of a town of like somebody important. So I'm just a casual individual that is just living life. But he said, people look at, they want to hear what other people are going through, and find relatable things. I don't really listen to podcasts on my off time. So I've had a few messages of like, hey, I found your podcast, like super crazy. I will occasionally ask on my Insta story, like, hey, like, what do you think the podcast is about? I'm thinking about doing like, hey, what kind of questions do you want me to bring up? Or like, you want me to casually ask just to kind of, kind of just get that more like attention. But I think since we've kind of conjoined, I think it's kind of blown up a little bit. And I don't know if that's because I have like 8,000 random people like following me only because probably because of my gym booty pics, but I worked hard.
Right.
Okay. I worked hard for it, but retired Guerrero, he found it and he was like, I heard you're famous. And I was like, and he said he looked up SF motivational videos on YouTube and came across our podcast. So I was like,
Wait,
you're
what?
okay. Yeah.
Hold on. You're. That's crazy. Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't know how he found it. Yeah, I don't know. But I think, I haven't looked at the views of our video or whatnot, but I feel like it's kind of, gaining the like good attention. Because we're not out here like flexing random stuff and like kind of doing like weird stuff. But I feel like it's getting the good attention that I think you were anticipating when you had started it as far as intentions.
No, for sure. And like I said, it's just like with anything, Mariah, I'm sure you can relate to this, or both of y'all can relate to this. When I first started, it was like, yeah, I got your support. I got your support. Everyone's back. Everyone has your back. And then you do two or three episodes, and then by episode number 4 is like those numbers started going down. And then they really went down whenever I PCS and I moved from San Antonio to Wichita Falls, because I took a break because it's just me. So me having to move, like a lot of stuff was going on. I wasn't even like thinking about getting any guests. And then once I finally got back into it, I think I took 2.5, almost 3 months off. I did another podcast and boom, I think there was like 60 views or 70 views or something like that. Now it's in like the average like 500 views, 600 views, which is actually pretty good. So yeah, it has been growing. And that's just super awesome that like to give you context, Mariah, and everyone listening, Master Guerrero was like an instructor we had back in tech school, which was like 2016. He was like our lead instructor for our like job training right after basic training boot camp. And to search, she said he searched up SF motivational videos, which is like security forces, right? I know most people think it's special forces, but for the Air Force, it's security forces, which was my old job, right? And he found like this podcast. That's pretty crazy, because you just never know who's listening. You never know, whose life you could change. And like you said, Mariah, that's why I do this. This is almost like therapy for me. It's super important.
Oh yeah.
But thank you for sharing that, Georgie. I did not know that. That's pretty crazy.
Yes. I have a question too for Mariah because I'm creeping on her Instagram right now and I seen this one post. She posted it and I have to ask about this. I need to know.
Okay.
Let me get to her page. I need to know about this as soon as possible. Okay. How do I get this? How do I get that? And is it
I'm
healthy?
telling you, I got that recipe and my DMs, my Facebook Messenger was. I'll send you the recipe after. It's super easy.
It has to be healthy because fit girl life. Like I seen that cream on your Instagram and I was like, oh my god, I need to ask you about this. Like if it has sweets, chocolate, fruit, whatever, I'm in. Bread, it doesn't matter. I'm in.
No,
and that's what's
healthy.
That's what's hard about like getting into the whole like fitness. And I think for females too, because we carry weight so much different, it I think is 10 times more what we like. I know it's everything is what you eat. It's like 80% what you eat and 20% how you work. Does that equal 100? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I had to make sure. I've done a lot of math. So, but I think for females, I really think it's like 95% what you eat and 5% how you work. Because you just go heavy for a week in the gym for like, or go heavy for like whatever in whatever category you want in a month, and you're gonna build muscle. Like I think women build muscle quick as far as lower body. Like if you're squatting, the dump truck's there. Get in line for your CDL, like it's happening, especially if you're eating good and you're lifting heavy. Upper body's a little bit different story, but I think a lot of it has to be, I think for females especially, what you eat. And it's so hard because like I'm at
Well,
work,
I know,
it's chocolate,
I,
fruit,
I,
bread, pasta.
I know a lot of that has to do with your hormones. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mariah. You probably know more than I do, but your hormones and like your insulin spikes and stuff like that. I mean, females and males have different hormones, so whenever
Yeah.
we ingest different things, the body reacts way different in females than it does with males. So yes, it is sometimes, majority of the time, harder for um I mean, easier for females to put on weight than it is for males, for sure.
Yeah.
I will
Oh, yeah.
say what's helped me is just being consistent. Like, I mean, woman to woman, our bodies go through things monthly, and it's like bloating is like your body looks drastically different with just
Yes, I look pregnant once a month. No, not even once a month. I look like I'm pregnant at least 3 weeks out of the 4 months. Even after casually eating, I look pregnant. So I've been on a search for trying to find greens. So if you can recommend a decent tasting greens, not one where I'm like at work, like try to drink it, I'm like gagging. I don't want the I don't know, just something to help the bloating because I'm not trying to look prego.
What helps me is greens and aloe. Like, but I will say though, what's helped me is just like you said, like what you saw on my Instagram, that little dessert it's not unhealthy at all. But I will say, like, it is like, women, our bodies are very different. It's et cetera, et cetera. But what's helped me like be happy and what's the word? Okay, physically and mentally is like just being consistent, showing up every day, whatever that looks like. Whether it's like being in the gym, whether it's if I say, okay, Mariah, this is what you're gonna eat, sticking to it and showing up for myself. Like whether I mean if I eat a pizza that day, I eat a pizza that day. I mean,
Yeah. Self accountability, like
yeah.
life
But
memories
with
over
things
macros.
like being patient, showing up for myself, like it all just comes into one little ball, and it just one thing leads after another, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like
So
you gotta show up for yourself. I'm definitely like a person on like if I'm gonna eat the ice cream, I'm gonna eat it. Like if I'm gonna I don't limit myself. Like I limit to how much. Like I'm really big into portions, so
Oh yeah.
I starve a lot because I'm portions and I'm like always hungry. But as you know, if I'm gonna get the pizza down the street, like I'm gonna get it, but I'm not gonna get it 4 times a week. I'll maybe treat myself. It typically is one day a weekend where we're kind of like indulging in like a small meal that's like not casual. But yeah, I'm definitely, and then showing up, like I don't know about you and Nick, I don't know if this is the same for guys, but like going to the gym, especially leg day, I don't know what it is because females leg day, we are number one in that category for sure. Our calves match the rest of our bodies, so sorry men out there. Adams is like, what the frick?
I have some pretty nice ass calves. I just want to throw that out there.
But yeah, like you get there, you get your headphones on. Mariah, I don't know about you, but we listen to, but I warm up to Jackie's, R&B, and I'm getting like the leg, I'm doing, I'm getting in the zone, like the female divine energy, Doja Cat, sexy time, and then boom, I'm hitting legs. And it's kind of like that. I just ate good today. I'm hungry, but I got that pump. Shout out to Alani New. I love their stuff. And it's like a nuclear bomb about to go off. And it's just like legs, meals, booty, pump, and feminine energy. And it's like, boom, International Women's Day. I love it.
That was good. I love that. Hey, shout out to the holiday again. Kudos to you guys. But little segue, you're talking about accountability, Mariah. I'm gonna call you out a little bit. Because I know that you definitely have influenced me, and like you said, I'm a support you through and through your family. I take a bullet for you any day. But you talk about like me hopping on the Herbalife, right? I want to know if you've listened to any of our podcasts, and if you have, has it helped you in any kind of way?
I actually have the one with St. John McGarity.
Okay.
And it has, I mean, just seeing people's journey mentally and physically, it's like you're not the only one going through what you're going through. And that's a beautiful thing. Like you said, what you want to do is, reach out. I mean, hopefully your podcast reaches somebody that needs to hear it, whether it's they're going through a hard time mentally, or they're physically, they don't know where to start, whatever the case might be. Like, you want to influence whoever needs to be influenced, correct? But when I did hear that podcast, it really is a beautiful thing to see people go through their journey, and like, you're really not alone. It motivates you that much more and wants you to keep going. So
For sure. So to my next question, how important is your support system, and how important is mental health? What does that mean to you?
support system, I think that is um huge. Fortunately, I have always been blessed with amazing friends and family around me that I've had support like no other. But I will say, there's no support system like your own. I mean, you're with yourself every single day. You talk to yourself every single day. And I feel when you get that support system within yourself, and you love yourself enough, and you grow that relationship within yourself, like everything else, I mean, at the end of the day, really doesn't matter. And I just think that's a huge thing to me. A support system, whether it's within yourself, is very important. But outside, I mean, it has a lot to do with um, what how you do. But like I said, once you have that support system within yourself, you go at it. Like, there's nothing like it. So
Hey, let's clap it up for that. My niece is a grown woman. Let's go. That was actually a really good answer. And I wouldn't say shocked isn't the answer, but the fact that you see it in that perspective, it makes me super proud. Um, it just makes me so proud, to know that when you think about support, like you have to make sure you're supporting yourself before anybody else can come to support you. Because if you're not supporting yourself, then you're relying on other people, and
on validation from everyone around you.
yeah, for sure. And that's definitely a no-go. Dang, that's awesome. Look at that. I have a question though. I didn't think about this. I should have asked this earlier. I know we're talking about mental health and stuff like that. We're gonna get a little bit more into that here in a minute. But did did it have an effect? Because I know a lot of people don't know. Like it's like a hit or miss with you and me, Mariah. Either people know or they don't know. Because when this comes out, it's gonna be kind of funny. How was it? I guess because people don't know, my oldest sister, right? Me and my two sisters are 6 years apart. So me and my middle sister are 6 years apart. So Mariah's mom, me and her are 12 years apart. So growing up, when I was in high school, uh, you were in middle school, right? How was that? I never asked you about that. Do you think it had a positive effect or negative effect or both? Um, because like I said, most people knew, some people didn't. It was kind of like this hit or miss uh ordeal.
I will say, so if y'all don't know, I'm the only child. And like most of my cousins were younger than me, and Nick was like my only, well, obviously my uncle, but the only person that was close to my age. And seeing him grow up and being an athlete and being who he was growing up, and seeing him evolve all these years, like, it definitely had a positive impact. It's like a good competition. Like, he pushed me to be better. Like, although I never really, like, I've told him, like, thank you, like, for being you. Like, I've mentioned it to him, but from afar, I've always looked at him and I've always paid attention to what he does. And it's pushed me to be a better person, a better, whatever the case might be. Like, I've always just wanted to be better because I see Nick and who he was and how we grew up. Like, we didn't have that much around us. So
Yeah,
seeing
it definitely wasn't ideal. I guess you could say to where we are now. I say not that, we were like digging in garbage cans or anything like that, but for us to come out of the woodwork and where we're at now, it definitely wasn't we definitely didn't have the resources to end up where we are now. So definitely super grateful, and thank you for sharing that. I had to ask because you're the only child, but I'm also the youngest, right? So I never had, obviously I have my sisters, but it's different because
yeah.
I never saw when I was in middle school, like they were already graduated, or when I was in elementary, they were in middle school or high school, especially your mom, right? Like, so I never really had anybody to directly look up to. I had like role models, I guess, but it was nobody like directly that I could come to and be like, hey, I need help with this, I need help with that. Don't want to discredit my sisters. I love them to death and I do anything for them. It's just that our childhoods were different, I guess you could say. That's crazy. Georgie,
Yes.
you have any role models you would say that helped you along your growth to where you're at now?
Are we talking like pre-military or
Just
post-military?
your whole life.
I'm gonna say I'll kind of break it pre and post. It kind of makes it a little easier. So I actually will say pre-military, so joined when I was 18. So essentially my life, from start till moving out. I didn't really have any role models. Like, and that's not to like, cloud anybody that I'm family with or anything like that. I've definitely had support. A small support, but as far as role model, no, I felt like I was like I felt like this was like the world I was supposed to be in, and then I was out here, like outcast all the time, like very different from my mom, very different from my sister. I only have one sister; she's 18 months older than me. I kind of felt like I was just I wasn't really like where I was supposed to be belong, or where I wasn't supposed to, I don't know, belong to. I don't know. So I have a hard time, and I still have a hard time finding ways to relate. It kind of got worse after joining. I don't feel like I really relate, or I'm, close as far as relation like that with my family, which I wish it wasn't like that, but I know that's, it's because of me, and how my life turned out, joining at 18 and moving, forced to grow up quick. But post, or after joining the military, I think I've had a lot of professional mentors or somebody I had looked up to as like a role model, and maybe one or two personal, but it's kind of hard for me to kind of differ the personal to like professional. But I kind of feel like as much as I think everybody thinks I'm neutral across everywhere, and I'm like, I get along with a bunch of different groups and I'm very diverse, a lot of times, I kind of do feel like I'm detached, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. Well, you're a role model on this podcast. I hope you know that. If you didn't know that, now you do. But a little funny story. I'll never forget this to the day that I die. We're grown now. I was a senior in high school. I was getting ready to graduate. I don't even remember whose party it was. I can tell you, like, and usually I have a good memory with that kind of stuff, but but yeah, I remember walking into high school like little house party one time. Everybody was like, "Hey, what's up, Nick?" shaking my hand, et cetera, et cetera. And the opposite corner of the other house, I was probably there maybe 5 minutes. I seen my, at the time, probably 14, maybe, year old niece, right? In the corner of this house, right?
Not
And
Mariah.
I look at her dead in her eyes. I was a little like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, ah, dang, like that's family, you know what I mean? Like I was a little nervous more than anything, right? Because I'm a guy. Like I know how like dudes think. But I also know she's smart and I saw her friends and I honestly I knew how my parents had treated me, especially my dad. So I wasn't gonna go up there and cause a scene. I didn't go crazy because when you hold a leash on something, as soon as you let that leash go, they're gonna run, go crazy. So I just said, "Hey, you better be safe tonight, and make sure you text me when you make it home." But she really thought that she was gonna go to old high school party and act like she wasn't gonna run into me. You know what I mean? She was freaking
14.
14 going on 30, you know? Jesus Christ. Jennifer
Built
Garner ain't got
different
nothing
down
on
there.
her.
Guys, I
You
will say, yes, that happened, but now I am 19 and I'm in bed by 11. Those days are past me.
do you remember that though? What was going on in your head whenever
I
that happened?
remember because the friends that I were with, they were like, do not turn around. Do not turn around. And I was like, why? And they were like, your uncle's here, your uncle's here. And I was like, oh my. Yeah, I remember that vividly. I know exactly. It was on a corner house. I remember. And the cops came.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a little crazy story. But hey, I've been there, done that. I've told my mom 1,000 times. I've definitely been places where it wasn't supposed to be, and so I was there trying to be more of a guidance more than anything. I'm not your parent, but I'm gonna always look out for you, always support you, and make sure you're all good. And I feel like I did that night. I feel like I
For
did.
sure.
Aw.
But yeah, segue in. We go from partying at 14 to doing what you're doing now. Future plans. I know you got some big ones. Why don't you tell the people kind of what you got stirring up in the pot?
Okay, guys. So, as most of y'all know, I'm from Odessa, Texas. As of right now, of course, you know what I do is online. But with that, there's so much more that I can do. I have some things this year, a lot of things that I want to take back to my hometown that I've personally have got introduced to. Um, I'm planning to open up a nutrition shop in Odessa, Texas this coming up year. So I'm super excited about that. For me, what that means is to serve the community healthy options, give them a space to come in, feel like they're comfortable, be themselves, and just give them an outlet for whatever they need it to be. And again, just personally take what I know from what I've learned from a bigger city and what's influenced me to become who I am today to my hometown. So,
What do you think about that, Georgie?
I think that's exciting. I actually think that the generation, or I wouldn't even really say generation because I think we're like technically still considered the same generation maybe, but I want to say, um the pre, or essentially Adams, the ones that come after us, I think they are built different as far as like motivation, like they are completely driving in the other path that nobody has taken before at their age, but it's positive though, and they are definitely making way, and they're forcing a lot of this really positive change. I think especially like you can take it back to um 80s, 90s, there was no 19 turning 20-year-olds thinking about, I'm going to start a business. This is what I want to take back. Like Mariah said, there's none of that back then, I think. And I still get it because, Cody and I I'm 24, he's 25 now, but just sold our first rental property. So, it's like, and all these people, and Mariah, you'll see it when you start building your business, when you have to kind of liaison with other outside agencies that incorporate, creating a business, you have your building property, all this stuff. They are going to step all over you because they just see your age. And from my experience, I think it's because, they just at one point were jealous that they weren't doing what we're doing back then. So
yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with obviously social media, right? That drives a lot of this stuff. And even though, we all have it, sorry, Mariah, I'm not trying to diss you or anything like that. Or this isn't a diss, but like you being 5 years younger than us, you didn't grow up without it,
yeah, sure.
which is I think about that different. Like when you really think about this, Georgie, think about this, like the last of the Mohicans, right? Like, yes, we have we have social media now, right? And we started at an early age. But I remember like having to do other things, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I couldn't like log on and see,
dude, we didn't have
this meme.
AOL at our tips, we didn't have the shorties on MySpace that were ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one, like you said, that's one of the positive things that social media has done. There's a lot of negative, but one of the positive
Yeah,
things it has done is give people the freedom to say, I can do whatever I want because they see
yeah,
other people doing whatever they want compared to, oh, well, let me just like go this route because that's what I'm supposed to do, or et cetera, et cetera. When you see other people succeeding in things that you are passionate about, you go and chase those things and you
yeah.
strive for it.
Yeah,
That's
I loved it. I love to see it as much as sometimes I get jealous when I see the 18-year-olds on Instagram that are just, making a lot more than I'm doing and they're just living life.
millions.
I'm just like, it's hard, it's hard, but I'm accepting, and I, see the grind. I see the grind that, they're putting in, and it's a much different grind than what we have put in, and whatnot. So I definitely think that social media does help. And I really do hope that as the younger kids essentially start coming up and they're buying houses, they're being landlords at 20 years old and things like that, and they're moving up. I hope that in turn, Nick, when you and I are running the title company, or we're running the service that does, we don't have to shit on the younger kids when they call us and saying, hey, I'm signing for my third mortgage, and they're like 23. It's like, yes, get the bread, sis, do your thing. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, I think, being younger. I had bought my first house at I think I had just turned 21. Bought my first house after living overseas, moving around a lot. Now I just sold it, have another property. And it's just kind of, I've had a little bit of a negative experience with mortgage companies, title companies, everything in the sort. So I hope, Mariah, when you start building, I hope those people are a little bit younger, or they're more accepting that you are making more money than them, probably living your life comfortably at home and making an influence positively, not just that 9 to 5 underwriting job, or that job they took because they thought that was what a social norm was. It's all about breaking social norms, I think.
Shout out to my niece, Mariah. I'm so proud of you. Doing big things, right? Do you have a name that you're thinking of?
I have been, mind you, I started Herbalife when I was a senior, and I'm 2 years out of high school already. And I've been thinking about this since I've started, and I cannot think of a name. And I'm just telling myself that it's going to come natural. Like, I don't want to maybe when it gets, when I'm about to sign a lease, that'll just come and snap to me. Maybe, I don't know. But to be honest, to answer that honestly, I do not yet, because it just hasn't come to me. So I don't know. I'm hoping it comes naturally. If not, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. I respect that. I don't know. I'll be thinking of names trying to help you out. But I also don't want to keep y'all too long. I know it's a weeknight or whatnot. So I wanted to do like this small little segment of like mental health. But we'll definitely get more of that in as more podcast goes. And obviously when you do open it up, we'll definitely have to do another episode. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna be huge. That'll be dope. But I just wanted to let people know out there, hey, mental health is real, guys. Like it really is. I think that we try to, or I'm only speaking from a male perspective, but we try to bottle things in sometimes, and we try to go. I feel like that's what I've done in my life a whole lot, and I've been successful. And when you really start talking about problems and trauma and things that happen, like throughout your life, there's a lot of things you really distract yourself with, or at least me personally that I have. And I just wanted to come on here and like let y'all know like that stuff's important. So don't think that for 1 second mental health is not important, because it's everything, and it can also like change somebody's life, save somebody's life, and have a super big impact. And I wanted to say that too, because this podcast is so therapeutical. Y'all have no idea, like just doing this, you know what I mean, makes a difference in my life. So I hope that y'all too, and everyone out there listening, I really hope that you could take whatever you take from this and know you're not alone. There's somebody else going through the same problems that you are. So keep that in mind. But segue to the closeout questions. Georgia, do you have anything else before we go to our dinner table questions?
No, I think to piggyback. No, I'm just kidding. The old chief, the piggyback.
That's my chief. Yeah, I was like that. I was gonna say that's my chief.
I'm definitely looking forward to maybe doing touching a little bit more, like you said, in depth about the mental health. I think we all have pretty good we have good perspectives on that. And I think your mental health journey, Nick, is a lot farther than where I'm at. So I think maybe we're due for a good, convo. Dude, about like
that's why I did get it started, yo, because I have so much. For those of y'all that don't know, right, I recently started going to therapy. I did my 4th session, so this probably be about a month now. And you want to talk about like a smack in the face, right? It's like it's literally hard, right? I enjoy going to therapy, and I feel better afterwards. But the 1st session, it was good because I was just talking about it. 2nd session was good because I was just talking about it. I got to my 3rd session, and they're like, you have to do this homework. And it wasn't like homework, like he just said, go home and like write down these stuck points of like things that are happening in your life. And I was literally like struggling, like, and not struggling to write things down. I was struggling because there was like emotions and traumas that I had to deal with. And I didn't want to. Like, it was probably the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do, because I didn't want to accept the fact that I felt a certain way, especially because, hard chargers like us, it's like, oh, that's weak. You know what I mean? But your brain has been wired like that your whole life. And then it just down spiral and like a bunch of stuff. But Georgie, yes, I really do want to get into that. I just don't want to get into it right now, because 1, your husband's probably gonna kill me, and 2, I'm probably gonna be dead tired because we'd be here till like 3 in the morning.
That's why I said we need to save it for another. Maybe do like an extendo.
Yeah, we'll do it like on a weekend or something. Yeah, like a part two. But the closing questions, Mariah, so I can get you guys out of here. Dinner table, right? You get 4 guests. You can eat with 4 guests, dead or alive. Who are you picking? Mariah?
Oh my gosh. Okay, number one would be my dad. Um, Karol G. She's a reggaeton singer. um, my pops, which is Nick's dad. You said 4?
Yeah, one more.
And my mom.
I love that. That's so sweet. You said my dad, right? Technically is a grandparent, right? Georgie also chose her grandparents as well. So that's been like 3 people, right, Georgie, that have chosen their
Yeah,
grandparents.
we love grandparents here.
Hey, shout out to all the grandparents out there, y'all, the real MVPs. You know what I mean?
Big facts.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Especially that first one, Mariah. Like I said, you've definitely been a very resilient person, and I'm so proud of you to see where you are now. And if your dad could see what I see, which he is looking down, he would definitely be even more proud to see you smiling and thriving in life. And I love that for you. Last question, probably super vital to the podcast and whatnot. If there was another guest you would like to see on the podcast, who would it be?
Oh, me? All right, like, no, I'm saying yes.
No, Wanda from down the street. Yes. It's
Okay.
you, man. Don't think too hard.
Yeah, you're right. My hold on, sorry, give me 5 seconds. My friend
Georgie.
Zio.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
My friend Zio.
Okay. Zio. I think I have met her, huh?
Yes,
She's super sweet. She's super
Yeah.
sweet. You think she'd be up for it?
Oh yeah.
Well, then you're gonna have to help us get Zio on the podcast.
Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I think that we got enough. I think we went into a lot of stuff. Trying to think about if I'm missing anything. I can't think of anything on top of my head. Did you enjoy yourself, Mariah? I know you were
To be
nervous.
honest, I have always been since high school, and with Herbalife, you have to also speak in front of people and get uncomfortable. But this definitely was a good experience. Like, I love it. Like, it felt right at home. Maybe it was because it was with you, but even though my face got a little red and I was a little nervous, it still felt I flowed a little bit for sure. So.
I think you got to give kudos to not only myself but my
Yes.
co-host as well. I think then that's a big reason why I chose her. I think we do a lot of good as far as easy going people, easy to talk to, and we can express ourselves very effortlessly, and a lot of people cannot do that.
I agree.
So Georgie, shout out to you too.
Yes.
Thank you. I think we complement as far as host, co-host. I think we complement each other. Because while Nick and I are, I think we are very similar. I think there's, some portions of Nick that bring out, a better side that I may not be as good at, and then vice versa. It's like you have the crackhead, and then you have the one that's like a crackhead too, but is like very level-headed. Time and place. Everybody who grew up working around me knows that I struggled with time and place.
Yeah. Real quick too. I think that just hitting on that too before we close it out. I promise we're almost about to close, but I think that one thing I love about Georgie, as far as like being able to express and like be a good host, I think that when I like say things that are witty, funny, interesting, whatever, like she said, level-headed, I could do it to where it's in such a calm nature, but it's still like good, right? It's still funny or it's still cool, whatever the case. And then Georgie's like up here, like level 100, right? And she's like, hey, you know, I'm about to get my CDL because the dump truck is there. Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff is just so funny to me. You know what I mean? But we definitely do compliment each other. I appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. And yeah, this will drop probably tomorrow, like around 10. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And what we could do is I'll try to do like a photo thing and just let people know it's dropping tomorrow. We could do that tonight. And then yeah, should we get a photo? You want to
Yes,
get a photo,
I
Georgia?
actually have a photo that I'm going to take like of like my POV here, and I'm also going to take another photo, but y'all will see it when I post it on the story. It's creative. It's creative.
Okay.
Already.
God, your head's so big, Nick. I'm just kidding. Okay, ready? Oh, guys.
Hey,
Love
thank
it.
y'all so much.
Thank you guys.
I appreciate y'all again. Everybody that's listening, thank you. I know we talk our ears off, but we hope that this talk helps you in some form or fashion. I hope y'all have a wonderful night, and thank y'all again. Take care. I love y'all. Deuces.
Bye.
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 Bye.